format soon.
Oh, this way we tried this new format so that we didn't have to worry about only having 25 on. This way we could have 125 people be on. And so that's why we have to get used to it a little differently.
Sorry, we're doing that right in front of you.
Okay.
It's like we're not on a video at all.
It's all love in the room. It's good.
Yeah, there is a lot of love. All right, I'm just typing. If anybody cannot hear us, please let us know and we will move forward with that. Thanks. I'm going to give this to you because you know where it is.
It's hard to be the one talking and the one running the tech part and all that good stuff. So we have each of us, we have different roles. I'm the notes, you get the talking, she's got the tech. It's wonderful.
Wonderful.
Let me get to presentation.
And then down here. All right, so I think we can go ahead and get started if everybody's ready to go. Again, please let us know if you want to talk, and also feel free to use your chat box at the bottom in order to give us some questions. Looks like we are starting to roll in. Terrific. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. Do you mind clicking on my screen for a sec? And we'll just do a quick introduction of ourselves, and then we'd love to hear where you're coming from, who you are, and what you're doing. All right, you want to start?
Hi there. I'm Kristen Sievers-Kofer. I'm at the DOE in the Office of Special Education.
Super. Woo! And I'm Rachel Herron. I'm a patent specialist, but I am also a LifeVerse special education teacher who has I've done assistive technology since 2008. So I've definitely incorporated that into my world. I'm happy to be here with you today. And
I'm Jessica Conrad. I'm also a patent specialist and SLP and specialist for the areas of AAC and early interventions.
Super. All right, terrific. You're going to see lots of our behind the scenes. So we would love to hear from you, who you are, and what your area is. So if you don't mind chatting in, or if you would like to be unmuted, please let us know. Would anybody like to go first?
Unfortunately, we can't see who's typing. It doesn't say someone's typing, and so we just wait a sec and wait a sec and hope to hear from somebody. But you guys are a nice chatty group. Since we know you.
Oh, sorry.
And we know you at least tell us your name, right?
Oh, all right. Mary Lou Vandergreat? Grant? Oh, super. Assistive Technology in South Bend. Welcome. Super. Oh, good. I got it right. Thank you. I was trying to be hooked on phonics, but that doesn't always work for me. All right. And then Heather Hetler, what do you do? SLP. You're from SLP from South Bend. Terrific. Jessica Shockley, your AAC consultant with SLP at SLP with Glass. Oh, super. Lafayette. Nice.
We love Tony.
Ashley Wine.
Tanya Fletcher.
Tanya Fletcher. Sorry, I'm not looking in the right place. Special Education Coordinator. Welcome. And Ashley Wine. Multiple severe disability special education teacher in Lafayette. This is my background, my original love. So I'm glad to see you. All right, super. Don Knowlton, Elkhart Community Schools, Intense Interventions teacher at Elkhart Memorial High School. Fantastic. And Regina Balash. If I'm massacring it, I'm sorry. I'm a high school life skills teacher at NISE. Oh, nice.
Nice, I'm sorry.
Good grief. Again, there I go, trying to be hooked on phonics, and it's backfiring.
It's good to see some different people this time. Last time we didn't have all those different districts, so it's really great. I know some people maybe are coming to this time instead of another time, and some of you that are kind of right there in the middle of the state. Do you go northwest? Do you go northeast? So we're just happy to have you here, regardless of which area you choose.
Absolutely. If you were with us the last time, we talked a little bit about the definition of the COP, and we're just going to leave this on every single time in order to give you that information. And if you have any questions about the community of practice that we've established, please, let us know in the communication box. Oh, we've got Jana Merrick. AT School City of Hammond. Oh, I know you. Nice to see you.
And do you have a group with you? I think last time we had a big Hammond group all together. So
yep.
Hopefully Maybe
You wanna
Mary's
explain?
over there
Mary's so
with
The
special.
reason why I had such a beautiful reaction to Hammond is Jessica and I are with the Patents Project, and we do an AIM grant every year where we take 8 school corporations who, a lot of people apply and 8 school corporations receive it. And that requires one-to-one help from the patents team in order to help these amazing teams across the state establish accessible educational materials and systems that they need to put in place in order for us to have timely information. Have information placed in the hands of children in the same timely manner that all of their typical peers have their information. Oh, are we not gotten onto there? Okay. Are we there?
It's there. Yeah.
Okay, super. Thank you, Heather, for letting us know. So Jana is one of our, she's on one of our teams, and we are really, really grateful to have her. As well as this grant also includes a communication piece, and I think that that's the cool part, the tie-in for this, that Jessica, you want to talk a little bit about the communication piece?
So our districts that receive the grant also receive at least one communication package. So that might include a device, might be a very high-tech device or a low-tech device for at least one student, and along with services and help trying to narrow that down. So it's a really exciting opportunity for a team that just recognizes their school needs a lot of growth in this area with like some friendly technical assistance to help improve outcomes for their students.
Super. And in a little bit, we're going to ask for an AIM shout out. So if you would like to share anything at that point, we would love to hear it. Oh, can you click on the screen? Thanks. All right. So at each time, we would like to have a little AT corner where we talk about something that you might be able to walk away with and use right away. And Jessica, with no further ado, I'd love for you to share the communication matrix.
So go ahead and chat in the bottom window. How many of you have used the communication matrix, or maybe just seen it, just vaguely interested in it? I've used it a lot, says Heather.
Yay.
Yay.
Use it a lot with an exclamation point. Do you like it? Yes, very useful. This is a great tool. We consult with a lot of school districts or a lot of SLPs or teachers saying, we have a student that, it's a good day when they orient to sound, or, they cry to let us know that they don't like something. And how do we assess a student that their communication skills are at that? And how do we show the team and the parents, there's been growth, or that we know where to target our interventions? So this is a free resource. It's communicationmatrix.org. And the way this works, it can be done online, it can be done on paper. It's been translated into a few languages. And the way this looks, in class, it's used a lot. I think we've used some of class's evaluation materials. So you create a free profile and you go to a student. Oh, I don't want to start a new one. Sorry, I'm a little to my dashboard.
It's good that these things happen when we
Yep,
have everybody.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have some fake students in here. And what it looks like when all of this is done is you receive something that kind of looks like a periodic table and kind of color
like a map too.
It does too.
Classrooms.
Classroom map, yeah, for sure.
And it has different areas as far as level 1 through level 7 in the areas of refusal, obtaining social interactions, and getting information. And we'll go through a hierarchy of not used, emerging, mastered, and surpassed. So you can kind of get a nice visualization of where those student skills are and where your interventions might need to go. And the assessment piece of it is, and I want to show you the skills list. At the end, you get a really nice skills checklist that can be really helpful and visual, and just a nice way of showing where the student is and where
printable
skills,
to send home to
yes,
parents.
Printable to send home to parents. And the matrix piece, there is a booklet that you can read and look at, but starting a new matrix, it's really easy. You can use this for progress monitoring as well. And you just answer questions related to the student. So the student doesn't seem to have real control over their body yet. So we'll answer that question. Oop, that's weird. This happened really easily last hour.
I know.
Of course, right?
Oh, for crying out loud. I'm going to start brand new. Well, what would normally happen, and maybe I'm answering the questions incorrectly, is you would get some multiple choice answers and they would occasionally bring up a video of a skill. So this is really good if you are working with maybe a brand new teacher that isn't familiar with assessing, or you're working with a parent. They can fill this out. And then, here we go. So this is what I wanted to show you. Does this student individual intentionally show you that he or she doesn't want a certain thing or certain activity? And maybe that's a skill that you're not exactly sure how to answer, but it'd be helpful to watch a video of a student that might strike as something like, oh yeah, I understand what they mean by that.
Sit down. Sorry.
So then you could answer that question based on having that video.
Turn down.
And it just goes on and on like that.
I relate to that video. That looks exactly how I refuse something. Not very
It's just
fun.
like home.
I just love it.
Seeing
I love it
that's
as
so
a
practical.
layperson to be able
Yeah.
to see those videos, because we don't always know what that looks like, and to be able to have those video parts, I
For
think
a
is
parent,
really,
if
Oh,
they could even
yeah.
see it too, that would help them understand a little bit better.
yeah, you're so close to the subject matter that
Yeah.
you've kind of, yeah, absolutely.
So especially when showing progress in an area, or just saying like, no, my kid doesn't communicate. Well, your kid does communicates in a lot of different ways. And this is how we're going to target our intervention. So we have more functional communication, in different areas.
Yeah.
So it's a really great tool. Again, it's free, but if you want it turned into a really nice report, there is a bit of a cost related to that. But it's a really nice tool and very helpful.
Super. Thank you so much. All right, and we hope to bring to the meeting a contribution of the AT Corner. You know, I know this is definitely a discussion that we want to be happening between members of the region. Go ahead,
Oh, I
Kristen.
was just gonna say, and then if there's a certain AT item you would like to see or something, if you let us know ahead of time and you're able to borrow something or whatever it may be, again, we can go low tech, high tech, in between. Let us know so we're not just grasping at different things. And you know, maybe you all have used this, so it wasn't as helpful. But if it was something, and maybe some did and some didn't, who knows? But if you let us know, then that would be even better.
Absolutely. All right, so another thing that we like to talk about are upcoming trainings and opportunities. From last month, if some of you were here, we had Indiana's LAMP training at Clark Middle School in St. John, Indiana, and the PEX training in Indianapolis, Indiana, which are respectively March and April. Those are both paid conferences, so those are not free opportunities, but they are good opportunities for our state to have. And Jessica's putting those links in for you. Oh, for the communication matrix, sorry. And elsewhere, there is a series, a language seminar series that's coming up through Pittsburgh. Again, that is something that you pay for, but it's MenSpeak systems and some opportunities for training. And then I just wanted to put a little plug in for the free online courses for the AAC Institute. When I first started dabbling a little more into into augmentative communication, that was really helpful for me to take these free sessions. There's an introductory, and then it kind of moves in through some more complex ideas for augmentative communication. I'm tripping over my words today. You'll forgive me. It's late. So those are just some opportunities, and we
Do you
wanted.
get PGP points at all for that? Do you know?
I'm trying to
You would.
remember.
I think you would, but
It seems like you should. It seems like you should. We'll figure it out, and we'll get that information out. Always good
AAC
questions.
Institute, yes.
Oh,
And I believe AAC Institute also gives you CEUs, ASHA CEUs.
CEUs.
Yeah.
Which would make total sense. Yeah, for sure. So those are just some free opportunities. And now if you have opportunities in your area, do you mind clicking here? Just on the screen, thanks. If you have sorry, I would be amiss not to bring up the patents trainings. As you know, there are free, I don't know if you know or not, there are free trainings all over the state that we provide that you can attend by webinar, but also if you have something that you want specific help with, Jessica and I are 2 of 8 people on our team who can come out to your school corporation or, Skype, not Skype in, but, communicate in through a GoToMeeting or any type of help that you might need in order to help you with individual concerns. And, I'm really proud that Indiana has free trainings for teachers like this. I've lived in lots of other states that have not had this opportunity. So now this is a link to the Patton's calendar, and please contact us if you have any need for additional training outside of that. Okay, so do any of you have training opportunities in your area that you would like to share with other people in the region? If you do, I would love it if you would type that into the box, or if you would like to be unmuted. I think we've figured out how to do that as well.
So we hope that folks will share what they're doing, so that maybe you wouldn't mind if a district right next door would be able to come on over and, why not pool your money, and you've got the space, so other people be able to share what you're doing.
Little buy one, get one free.
Exactly.
A BOGO.
Yeah.
Or even on-demand trainings that you've been doing at the AAC Institute, things that you think other people would enjoy on their free time.
And I know that we have a lot of information that we'd love to cover for you today. So we'll throw those questions out, but please, throughout this entire meeting, ask us to unmute you, or, type in what you would like, because we're definitely taking note of this, and we take the information that you give us and we try to design the next meeting based on information that you had. If any of you did the PGP survey at the end, we pulled a lot of information about what was concerning you in your district from that. So it's really great to be able to shape these up in the way that would be most relevant for you. Oh, back to the cake. So does anybody have anything that they would like to celebrate right now? Anything that you would like to share? This does not have to be anything huge, but let's say you had a success with a kid who said yes one day instead of no, 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 or, anything that you can think of that you would like to share for the greater good.
Can I share my update
Please.
from
Yeah.
last
I
week?
want it.
So
I
those
wanna
of you
go.
who were here last meeting, we shared a short video about young boy who had a lot of behaviors, and we implemented a low-tech AAC system for his class, and a school district replicated what that school district had done, did it for their entire preschool. And I went in for an observation, and it was amazing. This class has completely changed. And I think I read you what the SLP had written back, this kid is brandishing his communication board like a sword. It's just so cool, in a good way,
not in a destructive to the classroom way.
And just, I was sitting next to one boy who was supposed to be the typical peer, and he was using that because that's what he needed to get over his anxiety. And it was phenomenal to see how this classroom changed, and the entire staff was on board with this. And we can talk a little bit more about what some of the great things they did in the beginning before they rolled this out. Just really made all the difference in the world. So very cool celebration.
Happy. That's a huge celebration. Oh, I love it. Does anybody else have here we go.
Elizabeth, I have a student that is hearing impaired and has caused a behavior issue due to lack of communication skills. She is now using basic ASL and wanting to learn more. We have seen improvement with her behaviors as well.
Oh, that's a huge celebration. That's huge.
You can communicate.
Yeah. We highly overestimate, and I probably mentioned this in our last meeting, but I can't tell you, I was a behavioral behavioral support for several school corporations, and I had people who constantly said to me, this child is he's ED, and he was in preschool, and I kept on thinking to myself, if I couldn't tell you what I wanted to tell you, I'd be a huge behavior problem too. I mean, that is one of the most frustrating things. Good for your student for finding, for finding that for your student and allowing that communication. Congratulations. Anybody else out there? Did you see how much we celebrate when you respond up to us? That's deserving of cake. All right, Kimberly.
Maybe next time we'll eat cake.
Yeah, we should eat cake.
Amazing. We'll have to email you guys. Out from Kimberly, I have a student who recently went one-for-one in a separate classroom and spending time at school in a class with other students.
Oh, that is huge. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, think about the independence that kid is now feeling, allowing to participate. Oh, I love it. Thank you for sharing, Kimberly. Anybody else? All right. So if you have any other celebrations, we certainly want you to share those with us. And please kick them up there and just say, hey, another celebration, and we'll make sure that we stop and celebrate in the way that only we can. So AIM shout out, and Jana, I don't want to put you on the spot, but if anybody has anything they'd like to share about successes that you're having, I will say for the AIM grant, we just had our mid-year meeting, and I was so impressed with how far the school corporations have come in just really putting that foot forward and saying we want these children to have the same opportunities for getting their materials when everybody else does. I've just been really impressed with it, and Hammond was at the top of the list for moving forward with all of that. So if anybody would like to share an AIM success from your school, feel free to type away or ask to be taken off mute. I just feel very strange being the one in control of the mute. You wish you could be in control of the mute, don't you? All right. So please, if you have AIM successes and you'd like to pop them up again, feel free to say AIM shout out and let us know. So we have a really cool shared resource. Our regions, we host 5 different meetings across the state. And if we find something really cool in one of the regions, we definitely want to pass that along. And we received permission from Bluffton Harrison MSD schools. They have created these incredible YouTube videos that address core words and words of the week. And Jessica's going to share one with you here.
So they have a whole channel. This is the one that they did on help.
Word of the week is help. Excuse me, I need help. Please, quick.
I can help. Oh, this way. Help me.
I just love it. They've taken the time to really go through and get that really important video modeling piece out there
And have fun with it too. And involve general ed, special ed, everybody's working together to do that.
Yeah.
I love that when that happens.
So do any of you have a resource that you'd like to share? Because we definitely, working across all of the different districts, really want to pay homage to the things that you've done that you're proud of that might be something that would benefit another school corporation. And I'm sure.
And it could be tiny too. It doesn't have to be this huge video
No.
series. I mean, that one's kind of a high bar, but
You don't have to have a teenage
forum,
mutant ninja turtle.
And I think a lot of our questions that are coming up, we just want to hear some, more tools for the tool bag. I'm always looking for more tools.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, if you come up with shared resources, please pass them through to us. And also, I just wanted to remind you that we do have the Facebook page, and we've been trying to make sure that we've been communicating on the Facebook pages for any of this extra information. You can post there. We post there. Kristen posted that beautiful augmentative communication voice video this morning, which brought me to tears multiple times today. And so if you have anything that you'd like to share, we really encourage you to make that an interactive page. So you were the district that brought up, and we shared this all over the place. We really enjoyed your scenario and wanted to make sure that we got as much feedback as we could about the student who had autism, who was no longer using his device and other school systems were weighing in. So some of the different pieces of feedback or thoughts that people had were whether you tried a more low-tech option, and they were agreeing that they had students that stemmed on voice output systems, and that becomes distracting sometimes. At some point that the student must have lost the connection of function of communication. They thought maybe reestablishing cause and effect and reintroducing core words might be helpful. And video modeling, great that we just showed that awesome video modeling tool. But something that I just learned, I just came back from ATIA, and they were talking about point of view videos and how important it really is to make your video modeling from the point of view of a person who's doing the activity, to give them that real life. It's one thing if I'm filming, Jessica or Kristen on something, but a different thing if I'm washing my hands and you can see what I'm doing in front of me. So videos for functional communication. And then LAMP and core vocabulary. And we realized,
that was the system that they were using.
Yes, prior to. We probably didn't bring that up. But those were some of the suggestions and things that they said. I don't know if anybody from that team is here today. Yeah.
Sorry. Because
As long as you're in
they
the
can
scene.
still see me easily.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's the gatekeeper for the video back there. But those are some suggestions that they gave.
And do you anybody? And I can't remember who it was that had talked about this last time. But do you possibly have an update, or do you know about this student if you're from one of the school that this was from?
We'll unmute you.
Or if you've had any success or anything happened since the last time we chatted.
Okay, so if you are from that team or you would like to talk about that a little more, let us know. Some of the regional feedback that we thought was important was words of advice that I heard today that I thought were pretty amazing. Jump in without an expectation of how the kiddo will respond. I think it's really important in our line of speaking to not have those predeterminations of what we think a kid's going to do, and that you jump in and you just start doing things because you never ever know who's going to respond or react. And I really loved hearing that throughout our community. One of the things that was brought up in another region, but I think is very pertinent to your region, is there was some concern about things that were checked out from the Patton's Lending Library. We send those items to you, but when your time is up, it's your responsibility to either find a Patton's person or send that back. And that the cost of sending that back was becoming a barrier for a lot of schools. And so I'm proud to announce that you have been heard and that Patton's will offer shipping on borrowed materials, and that those details will be coming to us soon, even though I don't have them right now to give to you. Rest assured. And I think that that's a cool thing because suddenly we're seeing you teachers voiced it.
Yeah. So if there are other things too, even if it doesn't have to be with a device, but anything you can think of that you don't know where to go or what to do, doesn't hurt to ask.
How you could be a teacher in Hawaii and broadcast back to your classroom. Sure, we can ask anything. I don't know if it'll work though. All right. So also just some, there was a lot of interest across the state about students with limited interest in your bag of tricks for OGCOM. And did you want to talk a little bit about, right here, they're talking about on and off and more and being used with music on an iPhone to gather interest and focus of aided language stimulation for staff. But Jessica, you want to, yeah.
So two of the things that were in my bag of tricks were a lot of the students that I worked were older, and not necessarily that they needed switch access, but we needed to find games or activities that were not so overwhelming. So Shiny Learning has a bunch of free age-respectful games that are, not a whole lot to do visually, and not a whole lot of motor planning needed. But those were a lot of fun. And then Tar Heel Reader, which a lot of you might use for their books, has a gameplay with it. So you can create your own games out of anything that's a YouTube video and turn it into a switch access game. So, or you can find games that are related to it. So if you want to work on cause and effect or choice making, they'll come up with a bunch of really fun games. People are adding stuff every day. That's a good one to have in your bag of tricks. And then, of course, my other thing, we got to bring that up, is when I go into classrooms and I'm asking people, so what are you using? Or, when is your communication pages? There we go. So often, the SLP will come in for snack time and calendar time and a language lesson, and that's it. So this is from the DAG2. It's from Dynabox, but you don't have to be using anything Dynabox. But it's just a nice way to get your team thinking about what activities are being done during the day, who are the communications partners, where is this priority for this event, relative vocabulary, and does any change need to be made to the communication system? So, more than just snack time and calendar time. And then when you have novel events, thinking about the pieces of that. So you can plan ahead for a better opportunity more than just maybe the 3 or 4 times during the day, making sure it's embedded throughout the day.
Super. We have a comment from Elizabeth.
Say, I have a patent item that was borrowed by another staff member of the corporation before I arrived. How do I send it back? And what happens if the student had thrown it and broke? I would.
Is that hypothetical or is that true?
Let's see. So I would email the librarian. So Carrie and Sherry will put their email in the message box, and that's probably going to be the best way to get it. Do you remember off the top of your head? Yeah. Carrie Owens. email her and she will give you all the information you need. There's no patents lending library jail.
This time. No, I'm just kidding. That does happen. And Sherry. We'll put the other lending library
But if
because
you
she's
email
actually in
Sherry,
your area.
Yeah.
That's good.
She's in your area.
Yeah, let her know where you're from because I think Sherry will be able to help you too. Okay. Oh, thank you, ladies. You're welcome.
All right. So, okay. So another thing that I thought was really cool. How many of you have heard about hex bugs? Is that anything that you've seen in the...
Maybe your kids got them for Christmas.
Yeah, I
Holidays.
just gave it as a birthday gift in November, and suddenly an SLP from Chicago that we were collaborating with said, "Oh, I use these all of the time." And I asked her if she used them with switch access, and she said no. That she works on go and stop with the kids, and she physically turns it on, but then they move around, and there's a lot of vibration. And she said that they make every kid perform for her. And she said to start high with an iPad, app with almost everything hidden, and then work on just stop and go with the bugs. And that has been really, really cool in her bag of tricks. So, yeah, I just wanted to pass that resource along. They are really cool to watch if you haven't seen them. They move all over the place and kind of a little creepy, I mean, they robotically move like bugs. So but there are a lot of different types, and that's just another tidbit maybe for your AAC toolbox.
So do you guys have anything like that? Little fun things that usually work or you find yourself going to?
It can be super low tech. It doesn't have to be super fancy like a hex bug, but
Fancy.
it's easy to throw in the bag and bring with you.
It can be a real bug. No, I'm just kidding. If you have that one cool thing, I was sharing with the other group that there was a duck that was switch accessible and, switch toy that the SLP who I worked with in Chicago constantly pulled that thing out to use it. But it was like magic. It was the Pied Piper of switch toys. And for some reason, whenever she brought that duck out, the kid suddenly was out of the closet, over trying to participate. So, yeah, any tools out there that you have?
We were talking about wanting to add a lot of these ideas to the Facebook pages because I think we're all looking for something new.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely looking
that
for
is
something
my
new.
goal. I'll be doing that one.
Yeah. Okay, so we're moving right along. All right, so these are topics that were pulled directly from the feedback that you gave the last time for what you thought might be a good things to talk about. And one was the practical options for giving students with moderate and severe disabilities opportunities to communicate. What are some ways in which one can evaluate for switch use and seeing if the student can understand the cause and effect meaning behind the switch use, and how to work better as a team, SLP, life skills teachers especially, which is such an important relationship to have. And the dance, I'm back into my analogies, but the dance that you do with other people in your classroom to make sure that the students are definitely benefiting the most. Okay, so we threw this out to experts across the state and just asked for some ideas of what might be helpful. And with the for the options for students with moderate and severe disabilities to communicate, the thought was their whole day should be language based. So in essence, they should have constant support to communicate and making choices regarding lunch options to participating in language rich classroom activities to pre-vocational tasks. Important to have many opportunities across the day, not just the pigeonholed ones that we tend to rely on. And did you want to share that group by group or by WordPress?
Yeah. So I'm one of those people, I just want to see what that looks like, especially since we've had such a focus on making sure that these all of our students have access to core standards. So this is a blog and this is a classroom out in Florida. It's group by group. And every week the teacher and the therapist post pictures of what they are doing. So like, for example, this one, their classroom is working on theming for characters and how all these activities, whether they're sensory boards or communication activities related to what they're doing. So here's another one, like past and present, discussing that. Trying to find one that has a little bit more, I think, starting around January, these got a little more brief and they were a little longer in August. You know how that goes. It's just a really nice way of showing how do our students with severe and profound disabilities, how do they access all these content areas, and giving students more opportunities to interact with that. So that's a really great resource.
I like that one a lot. Just like you said, seeing it. You can talk about things all you want, but seeing it.
And, seeing a classroom that's actually using it and this is working for them.
Yeah, for
Looks
sure.
like my classroom, and we have those types of things.
Yeah, I love it. So another area that you threw out was some ways in which somebody can evaluate for switch use, seeing if the student really understands the cause and effect. And the research the website that was thrown out was Stages, so apps for Stages at Wikispace. And, it's just another framework where you can really get in and see where what the students are using with their switch access and what they're able to access and how they're able to move through that. And there's a lot of recommendations on here of different types of apps that you could use, some free, some not.
Mm-hmm. And they organize them into different stages, so just like basic cause and effect into being able to like choose creating languages, written expression, things like that. And then I think you guys were the group that were asking about iPad to switch accessible situations. And just keep in mind, we have different types of switches. And just because an app is switch accessible does not necessarily mean that every switch will work with that app. So contact our librarians, contact one of us, and we can help you figure out whether you need something from AbleNet versus something from RJ Cooper.
Absolutely. And I've got that other librarian's email address if you don't mind popping that in.
Oh, sure.
And the last was just a question about working together better as a team, and what Jim Lambert, who is the old regional director for our regional patents person for your area, so I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with him. He really felt that co-teaching approach was the best way to go with that. And, that he used to be in a classroom where the SLP would come in. And typically at that time, because we know that breaks are few and far to come by sometimes in the essential skills classroom, that the teacher would leave in the classroom and miss all of that opportunity to do the co-teaching. And so that one of them would take the lead. It could be him, or it could be another therapist that came into the classroom, but that, he would assist that therapist, and then he might even take over the speech lesson and have, her support him. So I thought that those were some pretty good suggestions. Are there any things that you do in your classrooms or in your group and able to facilitate that relationship and make sure that that's smooth sailing?
Any comments on these other brainstorming topics?
Yeah.
Now that you've got some ideas going.
Any comments at all? All right. If you think of anything that you'd like to share, we'd love to hear it. We would love to hear it. All right, so the last time we talked about specific student cases, and this is something that's going to come up, I feel, in every meeting, where you will have the opportunity in your community to be able to discuss different issues that you're having. That's where the student case came that we shared with the other teams, and we just wondered if there was anybody out there that you would like for us to brainstorm. And we don't have all of the answers, but we definitely have access to teams of people who might have some good responses. So is there anybody that you can think of that you'd like to discuss?
I'm just putting in Carrie Owen's email 14 times because I don't know how to type it. So that last one is correct.
And if you'd like to discuss a student and be unmuted, please just send us a message and we'll definitely unmute you.
It's hard to type all that in there. And again, we can't tell if you're typing, so we'll kind of wait. We'll do the Bueller.
Bueller. So we definitely want you to get a flow of how the meetings go. Typically in the meetings, what we've decided is we will give an AT corner to make sure that you have something to take away. we'll reflect upon things that you gave us as feedback, especially through the PGP screen on the last screen where you're able to give takeaways that you had and what you would like to know more about or talk more about within your district, because our hope is definitely that you can become a support for each other that we facilitate. Oh, Kimberly just popped up one. Super.
Okay.
But please know that every time we will be asking for conversations about student cases and would love to hear from you. All right.
All right. So Kimberly says, I have a student who is able to use PEC's communication board to make simple requests. Do you suggest we continue this trend and expand her language? Do we try to advance to something with a little higher tech abilities? That's a really great question.
Great.
Or both.
Or both.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So with the picture exchange communication system and other, I know this is used throughout Indiana, so if you have experience with this, how you decide to transition from PECs to a sound generated device, or when you decide to leave PECs as the bridge that it's meant to be into communication and go on to something else. So Kimberly, what stage is this student at in the PECs protocol, do you know? Not sure off the top of my head. So, and this can be a really interesting scenario. I've seen teams successfully, perhaps, and this kind of relates to the video we had last week, we had a student who was stuck at level 1 for whatever reason. It just was not working. And so we immediately transitioned him to something else that wasn't high tech necessarily, but that was what the functional thing was. So sometimes the reason why they're stuck is because it wasn't the right fit. A lot of students, when they get up to that last level, there's a natural progression of introducing high tech and, not taking, it's not a cold turkey quit. You have both side by side and you're using it functionally to transition to the other one. Trying to think of other teams, what has been successful for them. In classrooms where there's a set vocabulary, like a core vocabulary, whether that's LAMP or Proloquitigo, and showing low-tech input for the students, even though they are using PECs, that's been very successful as well. So that student transitioning off. So really it's, PECs being the bridge that it's supposed to be, showing that function of communication once they've gotten to that higher level, or you're thinking, hey, we're stuck and there's a reason why we're stuck, we need a different tool. It's worth trialing.
But as you said, you've got both going at the same time, so the student never loses their voice if you just switch to something else.
Absolutely. And I would say that's true for all of us. We don't quit, writing cold turkey, or we don't quit talking cold turkey.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, great input.
If anyone else has gone through this situation, we'd love to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a training that PECs even offers. You have your PECs 1 training, your PECs 2 training, and then PECs to sound generated devices, the third training that they offer. I don't know if we have an Indiana 1 coming up anytime soon. I think it's just been PECs 1's trainings.
Right.
But if that is something that they wanted,
yes,
reach on out.
Yeah, right.
You're not the first therapist to ask for that one. So.
All right, super, great. Anybody else out there have a case that you'd like to bring up or discuss? Or, there's a lot of other things that might be beneficial for other people in your community. Successes and issues, problem solving, suggestions. If you found a good way to keep data, because we always have a need for that, or keeping services going from year to year. We talked about this a little bit in the last meeting, but that's constantly striving to make sure that we can not drop the ball and you're not reinventing the wheel at the next move that the student makes. So anything that's worked for you?
I wanted to share what we're doing in Evansville with
Yes.
all of that data collection. And
Please.
I think we're going to create a webinar out of it, but this is a huge school district that is having a lot of issues making sure all the technology follows from student to student, making sure that when teachers request consultations, they're following up in a timely manner and, reports being done at the same time. And how do you create a system out of that? And we did it all on Google spreadsheets for free. We have this gorgeous color coordinated system that when the evaluation comes in and it's not completed, it's red, and when it's done, it's green,
Nice.
and it automatically emails the teacher record when all these things are completed. It's gorgeous. So be looking when I have that webinar training set up so that you guys can create that too, if that's something you're interested in. I
love the use of we with this.
Yeah.
Because I was swept away with Jessica's current with this. I was like, this is so organized. Exactly what I would want to see as a teacher who comes into a situation and wants to have that information there.
So those of you who are AT coordinators or therapists getting just a lot of data coming in and you're just like, I wish there was a magic genie that would take care of all this. Well,
There's a magic genie or genies that can be paired.
And then wouldn't that go to the last bullet point about from year to year too? So you're on that.
Yes.
So
being able to.
So
Yes, for Google Sheets. I'm interested and would love to see it from Evansville. Yep.
yeah, for sure.
Having difficulty with one of my students with minimal communication and motor skills completing iStar test. Oh my gosh.
We
Were you
just talked about
that?
this. Yes.
Any suggestions? He has moderate eye gaze and will nod head yes, and that's tough to transfer onto a multiple choice test.
It is.
Mhm.
It is.
So we talked about this morning at Lagodi. So is he a student that if you had an eye gaze board or a piece of clear plastic and had A, B, C, D, would he be able to go from the 4 points? So if you said, is it A, B, C, or D, would he be able to?
Probably not in the field of
there,
vision.
that's better.
Is she
Yeah,
there?
No. Or eye gaze towards staff. Okay, so he's more interested looking at people. It's not
Mhm.
able to, but he has a.
So you could have all the staff stand there with ABC. And
Yeah, right? Flicker cards.
That won't take a long
See
time to
what you said.
that
And
at
will
all.
nod and said yes. So he has a yes response.
Mhm.
Is it something where if you were to scan verbally through it and say, is it A? And then he gives you no response, and then you'd say, is it B? And then he could say yes. Is that functional for him?
Mhm. Partner assisted.
Partner assisted scanning.
Mhm.
Too bad other staff can't be in the room.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
75% of the time it's a nod. Is he just nodding randomly at everything, or do you feel like it's a functional nod for yes, I want that answer? Random. Yeah. Oh, wait, I'm not sure. Don, could you answer that one more time? Do you want to drink? Nod. So it is. So it's a functional nod.
You think it's relevant to what you're asking the
Mhm.
student?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to go to the moon? Nod.
Maybe he
Well.
really does. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
And in those tests, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, you just have to go with what the student's response is. There's no option for interpreting
Right.
through that.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
And even though as the educator that works with them in other educational opportunities, that it may not be the most accurate snapshot of what he's able to do.
But it's hard to tell though, is there really a mode of communication or not? If he's nodding for everything,
Mm-hmm.
the yeses, the nos, the in between, to me it sounds more like a no mode of communication than it does that the nod is really what he's going for. But again, I'm just reading this a little bit, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, we got an email about that today. Even if they're wrong, we can't stop the test.
But if you're,
Mm-hmm.
is there a mode of communication though to begin with in this case? Is that nod really a nod?
Mm-hmm.
So working on more functional yes, no, getting a clearer option. Trying to think of that's one definitely to write down.
Yeah,
Thank you for
especially
that.
because it came up twice now too.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. We'll throw this out to other people across the state to see if we can get some good feedback for you. And then in the next meeting, we'll definitely discuss it. If you need to know before the next meeting, then we can email back and forth or, hop onto that Facebook page and we can definitely have a discussion that might benefit more people. Thank you so much.
That came in. I'm gonna make sure I don't accidentally delete.
Oh yeah, Jana, we'd be happy to work with you and your team. That'd be awesome.
All right, this one, that was Dawn's. Creative. Yeah, Ashley agrees. She's had some concerns with iStar too. I think we had this meeting at the perfect time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I have a student, this is from Kimberly. I have a student who's able to understand much more than she's able to express. She has Down syndrome and autism. She can track items to the right, but really struggles with tracking items top to bottom.
Mhm.
When given multiple choice items, the horizontal position, she can make a choice. However, the vertical positioning, nothing. Always chooses the bottom. Any ideas for helping with this? Taking iStar is torture because she can't choose items appropriately due to this, even though I know she would be able to answer some of the questions correctly if she could choose differently.
So the vertical you said did not work, but the horizontal does work. Is that what
Yes.
you just said? Okay. So I double check, email Karen Stein separately. Don't put this on Learning Connection, but send this one straight to her. And because I can't remember, I'm 100% right on this, but some people, when they've ordered the paper pencil version, they've cut it up and then you could lay them. So if they're all coming vertically, you could cut them and lay them horizontally. So yes, thank you.
Is that
Hey,
hers?
Stein at DWIN, yeah. And so if you could double check with her if that's something you could do, please check that.
I love your response.
But definitely ask first because she's not too excited when people cut it up and don't ask her and talk about it. So
Yeah, right.
But we understand sometimes you just
yeah,
need to put it in a different way.
Yeah. Never hurts to ask.
Oh, she says, yeah, I nail her.
Good.
Good.
That's how we do all our tests in class.
Right.
Okay.
And she should be able to have that same benefit, you
I'm
know?
gonna write that down too.
That's terrific. Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you.
I know you're not the only one asking about that or wondering about that.
No, you couldn't possibly be. All right. Is there anybody else who has a question about communication or something that we need to get our statewide sleuths on?
And any of the iStar stuff, if you would send it all to me, we won't bombard Karen right now since this is her big testing time. But if you send all of your concerns about iStar to me, then I can put them all together and then I'll send them on to Karen. Or actually, Karen and I meet every week, and so we can, during one of our meeting times, we can talk about it.
We'll bring our email and contact information up all the
Yeah.
time. Kristen's. That's a good conversation.
I know, right? I love it when the conversation gets like this. Super. Is there anybody else who has something that they'd like to throw out there? Or other people in the area who have faced something similar to this and how you've handled that.
Mm-hmm.
You are your own best resources. Ooh, that was not appropriately stated, but you know what I'm saying.
I would like to hear, I know probably in the next month or two, I would love to hear more about how people in the buildings are making sure that when students transition from elementary to the middle school, how do those services, those devices, that intervention,
writing that one down.
staying.
Thank you.
So be thinking about that. I know it's super early in the semester, but
yeah, it's coming up though faster than we all know. Well, super. I really appreciate the questions and the input that you have given today, and really, I find it so validating to be able to talk to so many people who are in different positions, but all in the same position a little bit too. You know, and I hope that we can keep this discussion going and this ball rolling with servicing this beautiful group of students. And you know, we just want to help as much as we can. Oh.
Having trouble having transitional meetings between our schools every month too. Oh, we have been having transitional meetings between our schools every month to help the teachers at the middle school get to know their students coming up in the next building. It's been great.
That's awesome idea.
That is fantastic.
It has got to take a lot of time and a lot of scheduling, but hopefully so worth it in the end.
Mm-hmm. We need to definitely put this down as ideas for other meetings too. Perfect.
We went swimming in PE class last week. We're going to CBI bowling next month. So is that? Oh, so those students get to see what their future classes are going to look like.
That's
Kimberly?
so cool. Yeah, CBI, community-based instruction. That's really exciting.
Let's see. So Amy asked, can we cut apart the paper version of iStar and give the student in sections, give it to the student in section?
I believe so, but again, double check with Karen because I don't want her to kill me if I've just said the wrong thing. And this is recorded, so I can't take it back.
She can't take it back.
So just double check with her, please, first.
Yes. Did you need that email address? It's down at the bottom of your chat box.
parents' time.
Yeah, I love the fact that you're doing all of those all of the transitional things now. It is never too soon to start. And I feel like we could tie that in with the video modeling too, that point of view perspective of the student walking around the halls of the school. If you have a kid who has really hard transition issues, that might be something to look into too, you know. We've actually used QR codes with video modeling, and I just love that quick, you have a smart device, it can be a phone, it can be an iPad, and you generate the little, the QR codes, and you put a video in for something important, and getting a kid around from class to class, knowing that that's the next place that they need to scan is a pretty powerful tool for them to have, mobility-wise.
We've had one of our former coworkers who's still down the hall. She does 360 panoramas of things like the cafeteria. So a kid transitioning to a much bigger cafeteria and seeing, okay, this is where the line goes in. This is where I can sit. It's huge. And what a great language lesson right there.
Oh my gosh. So many things to pull into that. So super. All right. Anybody else have statements, conversations? We are loving it. We'll give you a few seconds. And in the meantime, we're going to flip back to the beginning of the, oh yes, Jessica's getting you set up for your PGP points, but we'll scan back to the beginning. So if you would like to have any of our email addresses, please do not hesitate to use them. We are here for you. This is Kristen. She's asked for any questions about iStar to be directed to her.
Yeah, the cutting ones go straight to Karen, but the other ones, comments, how to make it better, or what you need it to look like, or things like that, then please send them to me.
Absolutely. And when it comes to any other issues that you might have in your district, I'm Rachel Heron, of course, and Jessica's putting in my email address, and Jessica Conrad. If we are not the people you are looking for, these are not the droids you're looking for, we will definitely point you in the right direction of somebody from our team who can help you with anything that you need, So please utilize those. There's no silly questions. You can seriously email anything that you need to us. And I'd encourage you to, Facebook larger issues too, so that you can get more feedback from your region and the people around you.
We love the questions where, like, hey, I just want to be able to do this, or I'm stuck in this area and I don't really have time to research it, or I don't even know where to start. We love those kind of questions.
Love those questions. Absolutely. You are not alone.
But otherwise, get your PGP points, please. And when you fill in those quick couple questions, and when you give your feedback, we really do look at the feedback and have used that then to create this PowerPoint, this one right here. And so the more you give us, the better we can make the future ones.
Absolutely. She'll scroll you back. We will be putting a the recording of this meeting, as well as the PowerPoint, on the Facebook page and on the Patton's website in the next few days. So keep an eye out for that if you have colleagues who would like to see what was said, and for you to be able to reflect back upon things that are said in this. And hopefully we'll see you all. Oh, just another heads up. We've decided, because of the craziness of spring break, that we're going to host a meeting on March 6th as our next meeting.
At the same time.
So we're going to just go ahead and knock that out, because we think it's going to be pretty hard to schedule the spring break time of zone, I guess, if you will. So plan on the 6th of March.
And then probably get one more before the end of the year, I think.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's our goal.
It won't let me click on.
Am I doing it wrong? Don't know that you're doing it wrong, but if you type in this bit.ly and making sure that all your capitals are the way that it is, so COP, PGP, it should get it there. But if it's not working, email one of us and
we'll send you a link. Yeah.
Oh, Amy, I see your hands up. Don't know what happened there.
Amy, did you intend to have your hand up?
Is there something we can do for you?
You can wave it in the air and just don't care.
I feel like that. I feel like the teacher that was ignoring the left side of the room. Got it. Okay, good. Perfect, Ashley.
All right.
Super. Thank you
was
guys
good,
so much
so-
for attending today, and we're really grateful for the interaction. And if you have any questions or anything that you'd like to add, please do not hesitate to contact any of us. We would really appreciate it. Thank you. We
Thanks,
appreciate it.
everybody.